Hello, this is Bill, the knee pain guru, the best in the world at eliminating knee pain without drug shots or surgery. We have a cool new format today. It may not look like all that different, but over on the right, there's a little chat function that you can enter into, and you can type your questions into me directly. What we're on today is a Google Hangout. This is part of a bigger program called My Knees for Life Inner Circle. And that is where members of my inner circle get input on what they have going on with their knees and what we can do to begin creating the conditions in their body so their body can heal their knees. And that's ultimately what we're doing. If the body doesn't have the right conditions to heal itself, well, it doesn't. And let's see what we got here. Okay. So yes, members of the inner circle get 2 of these Google Hangouts per month. And what we do is we go over what they have going on with their knees and what will set up the conditions in their body to heal their knees. And at the same time, we get the pressure off of the nerves that is causing the pain. It's simple. Like, the approach is very simple, but it's not easy. And that's why a lot of times many people need support. And that's what the inner circle is. It's about support. So I have a bunch of questions today. I'm going to bring those up right now. First question is from Olga. The physical therapist just told me that I couldn't fully straighten my knee. I don't even notice it, but obviously that's the case and it causes inflammation and pain. Could you recommend any passive stretches to take care of this problem? Thanks. Okay, Olga. The big passive stretch that's going to make a difference for what you have going on there is going to be the forward and back movement. Module 2, if you go into the passive stretching, it's going to be module 2, and also the plant and pull. I'm bringing that up right now and get you some specific numbers. But the gist of what's going on is we got to exaggerate that pattern that is not allowing the knee to extend. And then you're going to be able to engage the muscles a lot easier. Here we go. Virtual clinic. So you go to the virtual clinic, the stretching lounge, passive stretching section. And that's going to be module 2. And then there's it. Module 28. So module 2 and module 28 are really going to address that pattern that you're talking about. The pattern that you're talking about in the knee that's causing the knee not to extend. Okay, D says, okay, Bill, very little degeneration from arthritis in both knees, and the arthritis in the right knee at the top of the tibia, lateral meniscus tear, not medial meniscus. He thought, gave no grade. I just added, he called it a degenerative and micro tears from wear and tear, quite possibly due to the rigid orthotics and mild valgus. Believes it is the greatest culprit of the swelling, wants to use compression sleeve, ice if works, which it has an anti-inflammatory twice a day. It turns out it increases the surgeons, anti-inflammatories, and run past the corneal doc, as well as no surgery, no PT. If other drugs will work. Cortisone injection, revisit in 6 weeks. Next time officially set up with Innova Health and Dr. Charles. Yes, the general public can. However, you have to go through, for instance, me. It isn't like you could just call up Innova Health. You have to have a referencing professional that would be able to allow you to get access to those supplements. Thinking the stuff he has for meniscus tears look good. Want to get going on it. Keep working with you in this private group. Also be able to get a discount on Sean's program. If so, we need a link. D, I replied to this. I think this was a Facebook post, and I replied to this for you to shoot me an email, bill@thekneepainguru.com. We need to have like a conversation around this, so I wanted to get a time set up for you that we could do that. Okay, question here is the basis of getting the knee into comfort, actually doing passive stretches that exaggerates the dysfunctional pattern. If you have a femur override and you do a passive stretch that keeps the femur in override until the tension releases, or whatever you would call it, this is exactly what it would be. As we exaggerate the pattern, we communicate directly with the central nervous system to tell the central nervous system to let go of the pattern that is stuck, causing the femur override. So it's like martial arts principles or homeopathic principles where you exaggerate the pattern, and when you exaggerate the pattern, the body self-corrects. So great questions there, D. I got another one here from you, but I do want to answer. Who do we have on the call? Carlos. Hello, Carlos. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What?
Yes, sir.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
How may I help you? What do you have going on?
No, just listening to the other guys and doing my exercises, but I have to be more frequent with them.
Tell me, what do you have? Tell me, what do you have going on with your knee, and which exercises are you doing?
I'm doing the passive stretches for the upper part of the knee and on the top.
Okay.
And because I have a specific pain that I don't know if it's upper or lower, because it's right in the middle.
Okay.
And it's a pointy pain that comes and goes, but it's usually there all the time.
Pointy pain in like what? Give me a little bit more specific. Like right in the knee joint? Is it on the kneecap? Is it below the kneecap?
It's on the inner part of the knee, just after the kneecap, on the inner part, but it's on my right knee.
Okay.
So it would be on the looking from the top up. It would be on the left side of the kneecap, like
okay, so
slightly below, but it's not below. I don't know exactly what it is.
Okay.
I think it's not below the kneecap, but it's right on the side of it.
Okay. Let me there are several passive stretches that are coming to mind that I believe will kind of zero in on exactly what you have going on. And
Yes.
I'd like to pass those along to you if you're okay with that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like you to go into the virtual clinic in the stretching lounge, the passive stretching section.
Right.
And then work with module 8, which is the kneecaps. Module where did it go? Module 34, the whole leg rotation.
Okay, 834.
And 36, which is the knee slide, and module 40 for your meniscus.
Module 40.
So, I'm not saying one of those specifically are going to get to that spot. I think a combination of those four are going to give you real high leverage to get the pressure off of what you're feeling in the knee.
Okay. The other thing that I haven't been able to do is like to fully bend my knee if I wanted to make a hamstring stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And to fully put it back, it hurts. It really hurts. I cannot do it because it seems like if it were too tight, and that never at no point I can do that. I can do it to a certain level, practically all the way, but
Okay.
on the last part it starts to hurt.
Okay. Let me give you 3 more
That's
stretches.
on my right knee only.
Okay. Let me give you 3 more stretches then. One is going to be module 1, the rotation. Module 2, forward and back. And module 23 for your hips. And the reason why I want you to do the one for the hips is because the knee is a hinge joint. And in order for the hinge joint to be fully engaged, the hip has to be free as well. And there's a tendency when we have pain in the knee that the body compensates for the knee and protects the knee. And it causes tension in the hip, which makes it more difficult to bend the knee. It's like it's one of these things that if you've studied martial arts, I have for quite a long time, and there's one arm lock in there called an arm bar, and you squeeze the arm with your knees, and then you push forward with your pelvis, and the pelvis creates the lock on the elbow. But if you bind the knee, if the person on the bottom getting his arm locked pulls over and binds the knee, the hip can't extend. So
Okay.
like the same thing both ways. If you're doing work on the knee to relax the tension in the knee, and we work on the hip, we can get full flexion or full range of motion in the knee because the hip is pulling tighter upstream.
Okay. I get the sense of it. Yeah.
You don't have
So
to totally get it.
tight,
Pardon?
yeah, kind of imagine it how it works. So if it's gonna be tight over there, you're still gonna have a tight spot, so you'll see it reflected in your knee. Okay.
Exactly.
So
So here's what I want you to do. Are you set up in the Facebook page as well?
yeah, I think I am.
Okay. Try this out and then post in the Facebook page like what changes you notice. Like if you get more range of motion as a result of working with the hip, or what you notice with those 4 stretches working with that sore point on the inside of that the kneecap.
Okay. The last spot I think I don't know. It's not pain, but I feel it's on the outside of the leg, like 5, 8, like 3 inches maybe from the top part of the knee on the right side. I feel like if I had I don't know, like a scar. It's like it's not a ball, but it's like a scarred tissue inside. I feel it hard. I think it's the tendon or ligament that comes from the hip to the knee on the side.
Okay.
And I feel like when you tear a tendon or something that it didn't heal correctly.
Okay.
I feel like hard muscle. I don't know.
Okay. How's your water intake? Like we got to have like the body weight. Pardon?
More or less. The water part, I try to drink all the water, but sometimes I don't do it. But
Okay.
I have it on mine.
There, your water intake is going to make a big difference on how much tension it's going to be in the leg. That's going to contribute to it. And then there's also the recipe for the original Gatorade that if you have difficulty drinking water, sometimes the body's minerally deficient. So if we increase I have a recipe for the original Gatorade that is 1 gallon of distilled water, 1 fresh squeezed lemon, and 1 tablespoon, 1/2 to 1 full tablespoon of high quality sea salt. You mix it up together and then you drink a glass or 2 down every day. And what that's going to help is your body to be able to retain the water that it's actually drinking, because it needs a certain amount of minerals to absorb the water from outside of the cell to inside of the cell in the body.
Okay, it was distilled water, the sea salt, and how much lemon?
One fresh squeezed lemon.
One fresh. Okay.
Yeah, it's more for taste. Vitamin C and taste.
Okay.
So I'd work with that.
So is this plus the water? Is this mix plus the water I have to drink?
You can
or I can substitute it.
Have a couple of glasses that you can include in with the water that you drink every day.
Okay. Okay, I'll do that. Okay.
Is there any other questions? You all set?
I'm set with those. That homework. That's a lot of homework. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take it easy. You know, take baby steps. Like there's no right or wrong with this. We just want to get feedback from your nervous system. One of the mistakes that I see clients make, people that I work with, is that they'll try it and they'll be like, oh, I didn't notice any change.
Yeah, sometimes it's
yeah, so what we need to do is we need to go slower. When you go slower, you gain more awareness. You get more feedback from your nervous system. And when we get that feedback is very valuable. So when you report back to me, then I'm able to say, okay, well, we need to make this little tweak and that little tweak, because this, you really didn't notice anything. In this one, you noticed a little bit of movement or the pain moved. Any type of feedback is going to be valuable in terms of getting the information that you need to move from comfort to comfort to comfort, and then your body just heals on its own.
Okay. Slowly then.
Slowly. Okay.
Okay. So sometimes you like desperate to get it working and with no pain, so you try to you want to do it like to get a fast result. So
yeah.
Desperate because it's been a long time with the pain. I'm getting used to having the pain, so I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to feel comfortable with the pain.
You know, I get it. So let's do this. I want you to mute yourself, and I want you to watch those videos. We're going to be on here for a little while. You work on stretch, and then we'll get back on here and we'll talk some more. And you let me know like what you noticed. This way we can get you more feedback today, and then you'll have some things to work with. Does that sound good?
Okay, I'll go work right now then.
Perfect. If you could just go to the top of your thing and mute the screen or your microphone.
Yep.
And then I'll be answering questions.
Okay.
Thanks, Carlos. Okay. Let's see. If the people have questions here, I just enabled the chat box. You can go ahead over on the right-hand side and you can type your questions in over on the right about what's going on with your knees, and we'll get those answered for you. Meanwhile, until I get some of those, I am going to go over and answer some more questions. Got another question here from D. Says, here's an update along with some questions for the hangout tomorrow. Taking Voltaren. I don't like the compression sleeve. Feels like it compresses in all the wrong spots and makes the knee feel unstable. Also doesn't reduce swelling that much. Going without it today and doing very well, but more swollen. I think there is an improvement in knees from the passive stretch and not so much from the Voltaren. I'm continuing to do pulling lower leg back and plant and pull. Good results. Should I continue to do the passive stretches for the meniscus even though mine has micro tears? Yes. As long as you're creating comfort, that would be the question you would ask yourself when you're doing the passive stretching for the meniscus. That is designed to create the space in between the bones so the meniscus slides in back into place where it belongs. And if it has micro tears, this will give an opportunity to get the pressure off of what's creating the tears. And then in conjunction with Dr. Charles's supplements, that's going to be really helpful for you. Also, any new passive stretch you can create to help with swelling. D, the big thing with swelling, we have three main stretches that are going to help with swelling. One is the rotation, one is forward and back or the plant and pull, and the other is the meniscus stretch. And those three stretches get the tension patterns or the knee to set in relationship with itself correctly. And that allows when there's swelling taking place, like chronic swelling, what's happening is there's a tension pattern that is kink in the garden hose, which doesn't allow the body to flush itself out. So once we do the rotation, the forward and back, and the meniscus stretch, we get the knee reseated in itself more stable and more solid. And then that's, from an osteopathic perspective, structure governs function. And if we get the structure in place, then the body is able to function properly. So that's the first and foremost. By getting comfort in the knee, we set up those conditions for that to happen. Okay, help with swelling. The medial rotation of the femur is not at all severe, but it's interesting. It's a swelling follows the diagonal of that rotation, meaning I'm swollen the right knee in the upper right corner outside of kneecap and it runs diagonally across knee to lower left corner below knee. Wondering what you can teach us to do with our hands regarding swelling. And that's another thing. Structure governs function. You get the tension pattern relaxed in the leg. The bone's going to sit in relationship the femur is going to set better in relationship to the hip. And that's going to allow the body to flush itself out. Let's see. Just ordered today 2 supplements from Dr. Charles's list. One for torn meniscus, the other for Baker's cyst. Behind knee and going up into thigh is still swollen, but less constricting. Plant and pull really helps this and lets me extend leg pretty gosh darn well. Folks in Nova Health, really helpful. And your list made it easy to figure out what to buy. I think it's important not going overboard buying it first because it makes it so much more difficult to figure out which supplement is helping and to keep on with. Thanks again for that list. And for those new to the Knees for Life, saying I should get Dr. Charles's supplement list up, and I will. In the description section, I will post Dr. Frank Charles's ultimate knee pain supplement list. I'll put that in the description section of this video so you can go ahead and download that. And that's going to be very helpful for whatever condition you have: pain, swelling, torn meniscus, bone on bone, arthritis, Baker's cyst, bone spurs, Dr. Charles has it really outlined specifically as to which supplements are going to be best for you. Okay, let's see. Question here for, let's see, Donald. He was talking about, Donald had a comment about duck walking. It was one of the videos that I had, and it was my dad. Donald says, that was my dad's suggestion for protecting your knees before playing football, soccer, baseball, tennis. He would have the whole football team duck walk the length of the field before each practice session. They would all go all season without knee injuries. And I agree with Donald to an extent. However, if you're talking about someone who hasn't had that range of motion in their knee in quite a while, their body's dehydrated, they don't have the proper nutrition, that's really putting a strain on a joint. We want to go easy on it at first and create comfort in the knee first before we start pushing it. And that's why we have to do, in order to get the results that you're looking for with your knees, you have to address the body in a specific order. We have to get the mind right. We have to get the belief that the body could heal itself, that we're looking at water, nutrition, and breathing to set up the conditions so the body can heal. And then we're looking at passive stretching to get the tension off of the nerves communicating directly with the central nervous system, your central nervous system, to get the space so the body can heal. It's all very important. There's a systematic approach. And if we aren't doing it systematically, it can get kind of iffy, especially if we're looking at, someone older, like, I'm mid-40s. And if you took someone even my age that hasn't been working out, that hasn't been taking care of themselves, and you start duck walking, I don't know if that's such a great idea. It could lead to a lot of issues. Okay, next question here is from Sharon. My daughter has a cyst at the back of her left knee. When she's standing, you could see it. After some hot compress, it was gone. But after a month, it's back and bigger than before. She's only 7. She's not complaining that it's painful. It happened after taking her shoes off from the school. She took a bath. What should I do? Thank you very much. After taking her shoes off, she took a bath. Okay. Baker cyst. Tension pattern that's going on in the knee. How I would look at a Baker cyst is I would look at the specific stretches forward and back. Let's see. I would look at modules. Okay, this is going to be the virtual clinic, the stretching lounge, passive stretching section. I would go with module 1, the rotation. Module 2, difficulty with stairs. And module 2 is going to make a big difference as far as the tension that's, the Baker cyst. The body's able to flesh itself out. And then I would also call Innova Health and see what they would, the direction that Dr. Charles would point you in, because there's some supplements that can help in the dissolvement of the Baker cyst. Structure governs function. We get the bones back in a relationship to each other comfortably, and now we set up the conditions where the body can clean out the Baker cyst by itself. Okay, next question. It's from Edgardo. Bill, most of my pain is concentrated on the medial meniscus, medial plateau, and around the upper tibia shin. Oh, how is that? Is that better? People can hear me? Okay. So that is, I don't know if everyone was hearing me, how long I was muted. Okay. The next question here is from Swan. It was about the rotation stretch. Awesome. Thank you so much, Bill. I usually have that dull throb after really long runs. This work. I think you're muting me somehow. That's what it said on here. Okay. Can't mute me. I got to talk. Now I have a question here from D on around how to break down scar tissue. Had ACL meniscus repair surgery 2 months ago and have good muscle response, walk fine, not on pain medication. It's just that I can't bend the knee more than 90 degrees by myself. The doctor is telling me that he needs to do arthroscopic surgery to remove the scar tissue for me to be able to go back to bending normally. No issues with extension. Is it a good idea or should I push more? I get a very sharp and intense pain on the side of the patella when the PT people try to push it. Thank you. Okay, this is a similar thing that I was talking with Carlos about just a minute ago. And we want to address the tension patterns that are going on in the knee as well as in the hip as well. The body's tension, the body will protect itself from being injured further. So it'll hold a tension pattern in the hip to protect the knee. It'll hold tension pattern in the knee so the knee doesn't get hurt more. So we have to address both of those. So here is what I would look at. In addition to going to Dr. Charles's, calling Dr. Charles and getting the supplements that are directly related to post-surgery and meniscus repair, I think that would be really good for you as well, or torn meniscus. That's going to be helpful for you. I would also do in the stretching lounge, the passive stretching section, I would go to modules 1, modules 2, and I'm going to relay this to you because I had the ACL meniscus repair as well. So the high leverage ones are going to be 1, 2, 40, upper leg rotation. Upper leg rotation, upper leg rotation. 1, 2, 40, 32, and 32. That's what I would work with 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, and I would do modules 22 and 23, 10 minutes before you get out of bed in the morning and 10 minutes before you go to sleep at night. That's going to give you some real high leverage in terms of getting the pain out of those areas and allow your body to heal. So you should be able to get with those stretches, you're going to get the more flexibility out of the hip. You're also going to be able to, you're going to notice a lot of changes in the knee as well, where it's a knee is a excuse me, a hinge. The more space we get in the knee, then it's going to be able to flex. Most likely that sharp pain that you're feeling is, I'm guessing based on how it felt in my knee, like a meniscus. Something's going on in the meniscus. Okay. Next question. pain on sides of the knee. What if you have had one knee replaced and the other needs to be replaced? I love to do some hiking, but I'm afraid being out of shape and having crap knees, I won't be able to do it. Any suggestions? Yes, get into my program, fully embrace my program. This is what was from Tamra. And, we got to get the head right. When we're already talking about our crap knees, the mindset's not in a good place. So we got to get the mindset clear. And then we got to look at water, nutrition, and breathing, which is going to be very important to setting up the conditions so the knee can begin to dehydrate itself. We also need to, you're talking about the other knee needs to be replaced. And that kind of goes back to the mindset. It's like, if you believe it needs to be replaced, it does. If you believe your body can heal itself, then it will. And I would go look at Dr. Charles's ultimate supplement list, because it has one specifically for arthritis and bone on bone that's going to be very valuable for you. Sections in there that's going to help set up the conditions in your body so your body can heal the knees. And in addition, I would work with the passive stretching section. I'd go in the virtual clinic, stretching lounge, passive stretching section, watch the intro video, do modules 1 and 2 initially, just to get that movement in that knee that's having challenges for you. And then I would work with modules 22 and 23 to relax the tension in your hips and your lower back. Yeah, that's what I would do, Tamara. That would be my strategy. Next question here is from Moses. I am like many of the people commenting. I had some of the meniscus removed from my knee. Initially, it was better. Now it feels like grinding, catching. I'm not sure if it's built up of scar tissue. I had the other knee scoped 16 years ago, and I don't have any of those issues. I need some pointers. It's limiting my physical activities. Yeah, the tension starts building in the knee. The knee protects itself. It starts the grinding and the wearing. I get into Dr. Charles's The Ultimate Supplement list, see what applies to you. I would look at, in the passive stretching section, modules 1, modules 2, in modules 40. That's going to give us the best idea of the type of results you're going to get. Working with those based on what you're telling me, we'll get some comfort in the knees there. And here's what I want you to do. Here's what I really want you to pay attention to when you're working with the stretches, is I want you to notice how that grinding or the pain or the tension changes. You do the passive stretch and you rotate your knee to the right, you rotate your knee to the left, you take it in the direction that it's more comfortable. And then we get how it is after we hold it in the position of comfort. We want to have a before and an after. And that contrast is going to make a distinction that lets us know we're moving in the direction that the body is healing itself. So, that's what I would work with for you. Give that a shot. Let me know how it is. Leave the feedback in the Facebook group. And, send your questions in. We'll answer them on the next Inner Circle. Question here from Anne-Marie White on the meniscus tear video. I fell really hard on my knees over 2 years ago. At the time, the pain was intense, but they did an x-ray at the hospital and said nothing is broken, and it was really just muscle pain, which I figured would be healed by now. But if I put pressure on your knee while kneeling, it feels like I've been stabbed in the kneecap or that a nerve is being severed. I have no problems bending it or walking just when I kneel. An idea is what it could be, and do you think they missed something in the x-ray? I'm 42 and worried because I have arthritis in the family, and already having joint pain in my hand is like, I'd like to be able to know a bit before I see a doctor again. Thank you. Okay, Anne Marie, we can get this resolved, as long as nothing's broken or torn. That's what we're going on here. If we work with this pattern, we're looking at something that's going on in the kneecap and when the knee's bent. So there is a pattern most likely going on in the kneecap. So I'd like to give you a specific stretch for the kneecap. Actually, there's a couple. Modules in the stretching lounge, passive stretching section. I'd watch the intro video, and I would work with module 8 with the kneecaps and 8A for a locked kneecap. And I think one of those is going to make a difference for you. And I would also spend some time working with module 2, especially if there's pain when you put pressure on there. So that module 2, it's going to be helpful in terms of relaxing that pattern that it hurts when you put the pressure on the kneecap when you kneel. Okay. Next question here is from I have a question about an oblique meniscus tear. Okay, it's by David. And the question is a little vague. However, we're going to go back to the basics. No matter what the issue is, we got to go back to the basics. We got to get the mindset right that the body can heal. Then we look at water, nutrition, and breathing, how to set up the conditions so the body can heal the knee. And then we look at creating comfort in there. So based on what you're telling me, I would look at the making sure you're drinking plenty of water. And there's a recipe I gave to Carlos for the original Gatorade. That's always very valuable, especially if you're running to the bathroom a whole bunch after you drink water, or you don't have a taste for drinking water. So we want to address the water piece. We want to look at nutrition. Track your food for 3 days so we get an idea of what's going on. You can send that in to me with your questions, as well as the breathing. I would go into the breathing room, virtual clinic, log into the membership site, go to the virtual clinic, go into the breathing room, and work with module 2. Because module 2 is going to start teaching you how to relax the tension in your body that's creating the pattern that is causing the irritation of the nerves. It's going to be pretty important. It's irritating the nerves, but it's also going into the pattern that created the oblique tear in the meniscus. And then we look at comfort. I would look at module in the stretching lounge, passive stretching section. I would look at modules 1, 2, and 40 in terms of addressing the pattern that's going on in the meniscus. Then I would call in Nova Health. I'd talk to Dr. Frank Charles and figure out which, based on his sheet, his ultimate knee pain supplement list, to get the supplements that are going to help with the meniscus regeneration and healing of pain and things like that. They're pretty line item there, and you'll know exactly which ones you need to start looking at. So I would work with those. That would be my strategy for oblique meniscus tear without knowing anything else. There's also, that's from a natural approach without looking at surgery. An arthroscopic surgery, depending on the degree of the tear, can be very valuable to kind of just get that out of the way. So we're looking at a mechanically sound knee going forward. But regardless, you're the same approach, the same program would be applicable whether you're going to go for surgery or not, because the pattern's still in the knee, even though you had the surgery. So hopefully that makes sense. We are now going to go back to Carlos. Carlos, would you unmute yourself? Carlos may not be here. But I'd like to see those stretches that I was working with Carlos on before and see how that changed how his knee was feeling or what he noticed in there. Carlos, you there? Okay, it doesn't look like. It doesn't look like Carlos is around, so I am going to wrap up this this episode or this edition of the Knees for Life Inner Circle. I want to thank you so much for being here. I really enjoy helping people with knee pain. Let's see. Let's see, we got some people in the chat room. Okay, somehow something didn't get set up the way it needed to. Okay, view, got a request here. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Huh. Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. I apologize if there was any technical difficulties. I am going to be sending out the link for the replay where you can watch it on Google. And I got to all of the questions that I received as of this morning. So I want to thank you all for being part of the Knees for Life Inner Circle. If you are not a member of the Knees for Life Inner Circle, I'll have a link in the description box to go ahead and sign up. This is what we do every 2 weeks, where we can interact and I can answer your questions about what you have going on with your knees and get you some really high leverage moving forward, teaching your body how to heal what's going on. Thank you so much, and I will speak with you soon.